Hello and welcome to the Friends and Music Podcast. Today, I'm sitting here with Rob. Rob, thanks for doing this with me, man.
Yeah, no worries. I want to ask. So we're recording this on Zoom on Discord,
Correct.
and you said that when we start recording, I'm going to be surprised, and so then a voice came out of the heavens and said, "You are now recording," and there's like a third video window, but it's just like a picture of a cartoon bear in front of a poorly drawn cartoon mic.
Yes, correct.
Did you choose the bear to be the third person?
That's Craig. He's going to be joining us the whole time.
Okay, so Craig is Discord's like recording manager.
Yep, he's a plugin that I got.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, he's allowed to be at schools. He's totally fine. He's safe. He's going to stay there the whole time and just listen and just observe.
He's allowed to be at schools. Got it. Okay. Cool.
So, he's certified. He's good. He's clear.
He's certified.
He's fingerprinted. Sweet. He's got his background check.
Awesome. I love it.
So I've been thinking about like your introduction and what to say about you, because we met a long time ago and we met through music. And I moved away from Idaho. Life went on. And now here we are, 10 years later, reconnected, talking. You joined our album review, which your insights on that are just phenomenal. You've definitely brought the album review group to a whole nother level. So
to just clarify, because like 3 people might listen to this.
And only 3.
You and some of our mutual friends have a Google Doc where you just put albums in, like the names of albums into the Google Doc, and then everyone listens and basically writes a review on it, or like their own blurb or whatever.
Yeah.
And so about a month ago, Danielle called me and was like, no. I think I called Mike, and you and Danielle were with Mike.
Yeah.
And then she asked if I wanted to be a part of the doc, and I said, the gang,
obviously.
Yeah, it's made me listen to a lot of stuff I would have skipped over. Like, I don't have any reason to listen to the New Day to Remember album, but like, I'll do it for you guys. So
you do it. I have a fun time. I guess I can't say we, but I have a great time reading everybody's reviews.
Yeah, I try to read them as soon as I listen and put it down. It's also just like, I don't know. It keeps me young, so to speak. Like it keeps me like exploring and listening to new things, and it's all kind of in the realm of what I already like. But or it'll be things that I missed or forgot about. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're part of it. The other thing that I want to say, hopefully I can make you blush real quick, is that you are a super nice guy. You only smile. You only make other people smile because you're freaking hilarious. And
I don't know if that's true.
It's very true, dude.
Okay.
That phone call that you're referring to when you called Mike, and Danielle and I were with him. Mike answers. It's on speaker in his truck, and he doesn't say anything. We just start yelling at you that we have Mike kidnapped. You don't know who it is at first, but you played along with it very well. And your response was really funny about get my friend out of the trunk, let him go.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think I recognized someone's voice. I think you'd started your podcast by then, so I recognized it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was funny. It was fun.
That's what I want to go back to, man, was I started this. I didn't tell anybody until the day before, really, that I was starting it, other than the people that kind of helped me get going with it. And you seriously were the first person to listen to it, to reach out. And since then, it's been nothing but kind, positive comments. I really look forward to each time what you have to say. And so thanks for doing that, man. It means a lot.
Yeah, thank you. You're interviewing like all my friends. So
yeah, you're kind of forced to listen to it.
No, I'm not. That's the thing, though, is like, it's interesting to hear where people are with music now as opposed to like 10 years ago. So, anyway, that's that.
Well, it's really cool for me. I was talking about it when I did that solo interview, like how I'm not playing music anymore, but this is a good way to kind of stay involved and catch up with people that still are or that used to. Like it's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So when we met, it was at a show, right? That we both were playing.
It had to have been. Well, the thing is, like, I feel like I've only met you in passing until you started this podcast, right? Like, I feel like I've met you multiple times in passing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't feel like, so I guess like it would be the first show that I played with High C, unless there was another band you were in before that.
Nope, it was
in
just
Rexburg.
Yeah, it was just High C when I was in Rexburg.
Okay, so unless you went to the first show I played down there at, it might have been Skizzy's, and I only remember these names because I've been listening to your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skizzy's. Unless you were at that show, I think the first time we played with High C was at the Gem.
Yeah.
And so go on.
That's what I remember was we played at the Gym, and then I drove over either that night or the following morning to Boise for the Boise Music Festival.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And you guys were playing that, and that's when I remember really like talking to you.
You were at that. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I remember I found you guys because we had played the show with you the night before. And so I went and found where you guys were playing. And then after your set, because you saw me, you came directly to me, man, and said, thank you for, coming over. And that's my first remembrance of our conversation.
Wow. I'm so sorry. I don't remember that. I remember playing that festival. At the time I was playing with this dude, Miles, who went by Big O. Which was a reference to his nickname being Owler growing up.
Oh, I didn't even know that back. I thought he really liked tires.
No, he he did not really like tires. It wasn't like a dirty thing, and it wasn't like the anime. It was just hit like, I don't know. It was he was this dude from like growing up when I was in high school. His band and my band would play together.
Okay,
and then through that, I just ended up playing with him eventually. And he would book these weekenders a lot. And then he would, we played the Boise Music Festival, and which like wasn't really my thing at the time, but I was definitely appreciative of anyone who came to watch us there. I remember someone from LMFAO played that day.
Okay.
And it was just kind of weird watching the guy from LMFAO not being the guy from LMFAO, but also very clearly being like the guy from LMFAO, that was funny. That was also a hot day.
Dude, it was very hot. Mm-hmm. It's cool though, because at least that festival, you can say you played the same festival as Nelly, Daughtry, Coolio was there.
You mean like through the years, or did they play year?
Just that day. Yeah, just that day alone.
Wait, Nelly and Coolio were there?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I left talking with you, and Coolio was playing Gangster's Paradise, so I caught that the right time. And then I think after that, I saw Nelly, like right after.
That's incredible. I probably knew that at the time, but that's really funny. I wish I would have watched Coolio.
Well, you were tearing down. You were busy.
Fair enough. But no, thanks for coming to that.
Yeah, man. I'm so glad I did, because I got to see you the night. I think it was really the night before, right? Weren't they back-to-back days?
I could believe that. Yeah. And I feel like that might have been my last show with Big O at that time. I feel like I was getting tired. Like I was like, this is my friend's music, and I like helping him make it, but it's not like my project. It's not like my artistic thing. And then I think that I took I bowed out after that for a little while.
Okay.
And then then he got the MC Lars and Mega Ran tour in 2017. And he called me a few months before and was like, hey, would you want to go on tour for a month with me and do that? And then that's how I started playing with him again.
Cool. Okay. I was going to say, because I knew you did play with him again because you toured with him. And that's when Tyler was the photographer for that as well.
Slouch.
Yeah. So how long of a tour was that?
That was a month long. Yeah, that was a month long. It was interesting. It was my first and only like long term, like quote unquote, like established tour.
Okay.
So, where we're doing like, we're doing like sound checks at 3 p.m. and, like there's a green room and like, I don't know, probably a rider for the headliners and like people are coming out to see both bands. I had to take a month off of work. And I had to like prepare for that and I did. And it was, I came to New York for the first time on that
Cool.
tour and, which is where I live now, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just it was a life-changing experience as I think it would be for anyone who hadn't been out that far before or who had, only played music up to like a point professionally, whatever that means. Yeah, it was, yeah. So yeah, he called and he was like, well, would you want to do this tour? And I was like, yeah, I'd want to do that tour.
Yeah. Sounds so cool.
Yeah. MC Lars was, he had sampled like Piebald before. He had, I think I found him on like the Mark Hoppus podcast back in the day.
Okay.
So I knew that he'd worked with like a bunch of other people and like the kind of music I listened to. So it was like, oh, cool. We'll be able to do this thing and tour with someone like that. I don't know. I was like, yeah, like when am I going to get the chance to do that? And it ended up being like kind of a catalyst for my life after that point. Like that was kind of like one of those life-changing things.
How so?
Well, I never had any desire to go to New York City before that. It was I worked at this place in Boise. I grew up in Boise. I worked at this place and it was just really I think on that tour I realized because of how positive Lars specifically was, I realized how toxic and negative the place that I was working was and what I felt like my home scene was to an extent. And I just remember being like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I don't want to be doing this. And it just gave me a lot of time to think. And because Miles wouldn't let me drive. So I spent a lot of time just like thinking and reevaluating my life and praying and reading about the world and not reading about the world, reading about music mostly, to be honest. But just because I was like, I'm going to read books on this tour, and I did.
Cool.
But but anyway, just after that, I was like, yeah, I really don't like what I'm doing, and I kind of want to get out, and slowly I started taking steps toward that, and then a year later, I moved here.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
So why did you choose New York?
There were a few reasons. It's so different from anywhere else in the country. Have you ever been there?
I have, yeah, just once.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's so different. There were a few things I know. So one, and I know that we haven't really gotten into like my background or what you usually go into or anything. For me, like I am a Boise guy pretty much. Like I always felt like it was kind of a best kept secret. It's got a lot of issues and I think that I see those even more clearly now that I'm gone. But I was never one of those people who was like, yeah, I want to go to like the fanciest place, or, like the flashiest place. And like I'm not really into like people looking down on people from other parts of the country because they haven't experienced as much or been able to do this or that, But then I went to New York and it was early 2017. It was right after the Orange Man got elected, and I realized that like a few things. One, diversity is just ingrained in New York. It's not like where I grew up was very homogenous, and it was it felt like a lot of people kind of trying to out like quote unquote woke each other, if you will. Okay. It felt kind of performative or from a place of, or maybe even from a place of guilt, which is kind of fair, but I still just like here, it was like people don't have time for that because you're just around people who are different from you every day. Like on the subway going to work, like I'm around people from however many different countries all the time. Different ethnicities, different sexualities, whatever, just all that. So I really enjoyed that the diversity was ingrained. I loved that it was just different. Like I loved that it was just completely different from like any rural place that I had. That's such a hard word to say, like rural. I love that it was just different from anywhere that I'd been. Again, I'm from Idaho. My parents are from Oregon. I did live overseas a little bit as a kid, but even then, like New York was just really different. And then also I just wanted to change. I was in my mid-20s and I, at the time, was like, I should try to work in the music industry. And why would I? I was just kind of like, if I'm going to do that at any point, it should be now. Like if I'm going to make any big change, I turned 25 on that tour. So it was kind of like, if I'm going to make any big change or big move in my life, like maybe it should be now. On top of that, my friend and bandmate, Russ, he plays in Shrugdealer with me now, but he played in a Boise band called Skittish It's that I liked a lot, among some others. And then we had a band called Late together. And then he had moved out here. So when we were here, this was the first stop on the tour. So we were actually here for like 3 days hanging out. Okay. And we hung out with him during those days. And he was just such a refreshing person to be around. So, yeah, man, like that's why I chose New York, was like the music. And I never worked in the music industry professionally either. Like that was kind of the goal, but I never ended up doing that, at least yet, Yeah. But I'm still so glad I moved out here. Like it's been life-changing. And in some ways, in a lot of ways, I think I'm a better person for it. So
definitely, dude. That's really cool and good to hear. And it sounds like you may not have reached the goal of working in the music industry, but I think you do more in music than anybody else that I know.
Yeah, and I don't even really feel like I'm scratching the surface for here on some level. I mean, maybe I have my hand in more pots or whatever, but I feel like I do a little of a lot of things,
That's cool though, man. Like it keeps it interesting.
It does. Yeah. I mean, music's definitely the thing that makes me happy, like if there's anything in life that I feel like keeps me happy and like allows me to express myself for the most part. And, like it's music. And, but also on top of that, like all of my friends are in music, like we were talking earlier, I think before you pressed record, but it was just kind of like you see someone in a band shirt that and you're like, oh, I'm going to get along with that person.
Yeah.
And like, so music is kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, we have something in common and we both like whatever band, or we've both played whatever place, or, I don't know. That stuff is really cool to me. I really enjoy it.
Definitely, dude. And I'm going to say that we have a lot to talk about, and I've said it to you before, but I feel like you and I can have our own show together because of the music knowledge that you have and that you can potentially share with everybody.
Oh, thanks, dude. I just obsess over things that don't matter. Like, no one needs to know every band that Travis Barker was in.
Well, I need to
before Blink or whatever. No one needs to know that kind of knowledge. There's much more important things going on in the world. But
well, let's see how fast you can name it, because Christian, last night we were doing a little test recording, and it was me, him, and Danielle. And so Christian in the background's like, oh, Blair, do you know what band Travis Barker was in before the Aquabats? Go ahead.
Feeble.
Yeah, dude, I said it so fast, and he's like, how'd you know that? So we need to know, dude.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I feel like I'd heard that, but I feel like I only remember that because this dude Marco that I know here had like sent me the video of him playing like some backyard show. I think it's like a cover, but he's playing so fast, and as he crazy, does, man. It's insane. Yeah. But yeah, so Feeble would be the I only know a few of his projects, to be completely honest, but I would say Feeble is. I did know that one. So,
well, You brought that example up, so
I
that
know
wasn't
it's my
me.
fault. It's my fault. I know.
But yeah, when I gave Christian the compliment in his first episode, just saying like how I love music and I feel like Christian knows so much more about music. Him and Mike both were like, yeah, like we know a lot, but you know who knows more? Rob.
Oh,
And so here we are with you getting to talk about it. And then you just explained how, music means so much to you, but where did that come from? How did you get into music? Was it something? I know it's such an open-ended question, but I want to hear your answer.
No, I think that's a great question. So I grew up being really into like hockey and drawing, and like action show stuff like Power Rangers and
Obviously.
I would just go through these little obsessions like Pokemon, Power Rangers, all that stuff. Mighty Ducks were kind of my big first obsession. Like hockey and everything around that world, the cartoon,
Okay.
the movie, the actual movies. Like I have them all on DVD and VHS. Like that was like my
That's
first
so
like
cool.
big, like I learned like my colors to like hockey teams, like that was
Nice.
kind of like who I don't know. I guess I've just always like really obsessed over things. I was raised in a musical household, but it was mostly like Christian radio.
Okay.
And so I wasn't really raised with like the classics, except for like the Carpenters. And
Nice.
I really did not like the Carpenters as a kid. I just like, it was just like, oh, dad's putting that weird CD on again on like the road trip kind of a thing. So it was mostly like Christian radio. And so and then like whatever I'd see on TV, but I didn't like, wasn't getting into it. My mom plays piano and she's singing in the choir at church. My dad did a little bit of guitar. And then in fifth grade, I did play trumpet because a kid told me that I should join band instead of music class when I got into fifth grade because I had to be one or the other. He said I should do that because you don't have real homework in band.
Nice.
So I started playing trumpet, and I was not very good. But yeah, then I guess around like fifth or sixth grade, I heard First Date by Blink at a school dance. And these kids were talking about this kind of music. They were talking about like Blink and Sum 41, and those were kind of the two names that I heard thrown around a lot. And then they would use like the term like punk rock, and I didn't really know what that meant, but I was told I probably wouldn't be allowed to listen to it because it was parental advisory. This is how fifth graders talk, right? Like like this, like without knowing anything. But yeah, and they were like, yeah, it's really explicit. This is essentially what they were saying. But then I would hear First Date at these dances. I'm like, what is that? That's the catchiest thing I've ever heard. And so, yeah, someone told me it was First Date. And then it was like, okay, you're probably not going to be allowed to listen to this band. Around the time file sharing was really popular. And then someone was like, but you'd probably be allowed to like listen to Good Charlotte. And so I started listening to Good Charlotte. And then it wasn't, and I didn't like it at first. And then it kind of grew on me quickly. And then after that, I got into, shortly after that, I was like, I should really just try to find that Blink-182 song. And then I just started like getting more Blink music and like downloading that. And then like sneaking it, behind my parents' back because I definitely wouldn't have been allowed to listen to it. But I kind of just like got really obsessed with this kind of music and that like scene of whatever it was. But like I think like in hindsight, kind of like commodified like punk music. But and then other things that were around at that time, like I did like Linkin Park. I did like I don't know, like it's kind of coming off the new metal era. I'm 33, so like I had the Limp Bizkit song, the one where he says like the F word a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm saying the F word enough. Fuck, I think I'm just afraid my parents are going to listen to this. But
you're gonna get grounded, dude.
Yeah. No, but I had this little MP3 player, and like the battery door would like it broke, and I had to like use cassette tape on it. But it was like like Limp Bizkit, I had that one song, and then Linkin Park, I had a few songs, and POD, I had a few songs, and so it was just like that era of that kind of stuff kind of phasing out and like mall punk essentially coming in.
For sure.
Yeah. So, I guess like in short, like, again, I was raised in a musical household. I always liked to sing, always enjoyed that stuff, but it wasn't like a super musical household. Like, not in the way that like, I guess some people are. Like my parents were musicians, but they weren't music wasn't like a huge thing to us, I guess. And then, but yeah, anyway, I got into Blink and Good Charlotte and like TRL pop punk essentially. And I asked my parents, I was like, hey, could I get an electric guitar? And they were like, no, they're expensive and you're never going to play it. And I was like, yeah, I will. And they're like, no, you won't. Yeah, I will. If your dad has like this acoustic, and if you go play the acoustic, and like show us that you actually have an interest in it, then we'll think about getting you an electric. And the way that my parents tell it, like I play that thing every day. Like I just like that became like my new obsession. Like again, I've always been like obsessed with whatever I'm into, and just like wanting to know like everything about like the lore of it and stuff. So yeah, and from there I tried to like teach myself chords with some book that my dad gave me, but I didn't like it. So for like the first year, I was like 11 to 12 and I was just listening to music and trying to figure out how to play it on the guitar.
Good for you. That's impressive, dude.
Yeah, I didn't learn chords until later. I didn't have like proper form, but it definitely taught me to think about music in terms of like math, which I still sort of do, you know? Like I think of like the first thing I figured out was Damn It on the guitar, because this kid at school would sing it. I hadn't actually heard the song yet, but he sang it like every day and would like desk drum to it. He played drum in our band. And then when I heard the song, I was a little bit disappointed actually, because him singing it was like catchier. But but like through things like that, it was like, okay, so if I go da 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 da, like if I do that, and then like, but what if I started playing that here, like two up? So I would like count in my head, like that would probably, instead of da da, it'd be like da da da. Like, so I started like thinking about music in that way, and it, even though I didn't have form, I didn't have like proper whatever, like it did help me out a lot. And like I've learned music by ear mostly because I just kind of learned to think of it in terms of like numbers and math and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I just got really obsessed from there on and moved back to Boise. At that point, my parents are from that area, and and I got into. My mom was like, "Okay, well, you're really into guitar, obviously," and they got me like this like beginners like Ibanez, and they were like, "We should get you into lessons." I got into lessons pretty quickly. The guitar teacher was like, "Well, he definitely doesn't want to learn like theory, so just show me songs you want to learn, and I'll teach you." And you know, that's like the year American Idiot came out, and that's like, and I started learning, you know, and I had the internet and I was learning about all these bands and just kind of diving into that entire world. So yeah, anyway, that's basically where it started, and my first year of like getting into guitar and like finding music and getting into that. So yeah.
Right on, dude. And earlier you said that you lived overseas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you live?
I lived in the UK for 3.5 years.
How old were you?
I moved over there when I was almost 9, and I moved back when I was 12. So like before 7th grade started.
Okay. What was it like over there?
It was culture shock, like at first, and I was just like really bummed about having to move away from my friends. But it ended up being a really good experience. When I was over there, I went to, you know, again, I'm from Boise. I grew up going to like a private religious school, and when we were over there, we were just around people from all over the world. It was an American community school, or it was called the American Community School, ACS. But it was, but yeah, it was, I don't know, it was eye opening. It's where those are really formative years to get used to people with different like backgrounds and cultures and like interests and worldviews and languages and stuff. And like, even though most of what I had around me was some sort of like an American or like English curriculum, I was still like, I don't know, I think exposing a kid to that pretty early ended up being a pretty formative thing for me, just in the way that my mind ended up being set up as I became an adult and went into the world, you know?
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah. It's a good time.
So
Wasn't a
you're
good
back
time at the time, but now I'm like, now in hindsight, I can appreciate it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so you're back as a kid. You have a guitar. When did you get in your first band?
We started one in 7th or 8th grade because I got back and my friends were getting into music too. And then and they were into, again, I started going to this this private religious school again. And so they were getting into bands like, like kind of more like Christian rock bands. And I was like, yeah, but like, have you heard Newfound Glory? Have you heard whoever? And then they, after that would be like, they started getting into other music too. And that's, we just started growing up essentially. Like my friend who I played bass in my first band, his name's Dave. And we still talk once in a while, but like, yeah, he showed me Weezer for the first time.
Nice.
And I was showing him Green Day, so it just ended up being kind of like this cyclic. I don't know. That's how it started. We started our first band to answer your question, we talked about starting a band for about a year. Then we started jamming for about a year, and we were called Roadwork Ahead.
That's a good one.
And then I can't believe I remember this. We were called Roadwork Ahead. And so again, like first year was like me writing songs in my room, but then it kind of being like we were talking about having a band, not really actually having a band. And then one of our friends found online that there was already a band called Roadwork Ahead that was on a major label like 20 or 30 years ago. And that felt dangerous. So, at that time, this was probably the end of like 7th or 8th grade when we were actually like making music, and we changed our name to The Note Script, which was, I don't remember where the script part came from, but I'm pretty sure the note part was, there's like a Under Oath interlude track on They're Only Chasing Safety called The Blue Note. And I'm pretty sure, again, it's like we're all kind of getting into this stuff at the same time, more or less, especially me. But I think it was actually Dave again who was like, well, the Blue Note, that kind of like ambiguous track or whatever. Well, what if we did something like that? And The Note Script, I don't know where the name came from, but we settled on it.
Nice. Which
is really all coming up with band names is. It's like finding something that not all of you hate and you settle on it.
And that's not already taken.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, everything's taken. I don't really think people should like worry about it, unless you're going to be like, oh, well, let's call our band, like, like the Rolling Stones or something. Like you're not like, if it's a small band, there's no reason to worry about it. But
for sure, dude.
Yeah.
But then it's when it actually takes off and you're like, oh, we should have gone with something else.
Yeah, but that's how your band name's memorable too, I feel like, right? Like I don't know, like though everyone says that, but and maybe I would feel differently if my band took off, but like that, everyone says that about, they're like, man, I just wish we'd chosen another name, but it's
yeah.
But that's what, but for whatever reason people remembered this name.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's first band, and I want to say that I am genuinely impressed by how much that you do and that you're a part of.
Oh, thank you.
How many bands have you been a part of?
Dude, I took a list a while ago and I went and found it.
And while he's getting ready to read us this list, he's holding his phone in his hand that is covered in a pink case with flamingos on it. It's beautiful.
Five Below.
Baby.
Band. Do I just look up band? Oh, no. That's not it. It's in my notes app. I think if I just look up.
Is there a Wikipedia page on you? Because you've been in so many.
Yeah, but you've never heard any of them. Okay,
well,
so
I've played with like 3 of them, so I think I've heard a few of them.
Have you? Fair enough.
Well, 2 for sure. Big O a couple times, and then when you did your solo project, when we played in Provo together.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know. Did you go by your name or did you have?
I forgot about. Oh yeah, you're talking about the show right before I moved. Yeah. No, I went by my name and I still go by my name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's going to be the most boring podcast you've had so far because I'm just taking time to look at my phone. All right. Here we
You're
go.
just
Here's the
texting your
list.
mom. Oh, it's a real list, everybody.
I did text my girlfriend because she was like, I've got some tea. And I was like, well, I'm recording, but I can't wait to hear it. All the bands I've been in. That's what this note is titled. The note script. The name's not important. Rest on this. Solo Boy, Wonder, Rob, Lanterman. That's just my name. Brosidon. Sheep Among Wolves. Late. I toured and recorded with Big O. It's kind of like half being in a band, so I put it in. Urban Outfielders, Fred Sheeran, Mascots, The Real Problem Dog, Shrugdealer, Jomo, Onsie. Bam. I'm in two bands right now. Only two bands.
Shrugdealer right now. And what's the other one?
Onsie.
Okay. And Onsie's a great band name, first of all.
Thank you. I didn't come up with that one either.
What kind of music is that?
It's like indie rock. It's like Pavement or it's like cool 90s indie rock kind of stuff. When I heard it, I thought of like Built to Spill. I thought of like Built to Spill meets Jets to Brazil. I don't know if you know either of those bands.
Do not.
Built to Spill is like the only band to get out of Boise.
Okay, cool.
Like Youth Lagoon and I guess now like Ingrown. They were like a really big like 90s indie rock band. And then Jets to Brazil is the band that the dude from Jawbreaker started after Jawbreaker. They're like an indie rock band. Right. Which is like my kind of indie rock. So yeah, that's kind of what Onsie is like to me.
And then I guess it's not fair for everybody else because I do know Shrugdealer, but can you explain Shrugdealer for everybody else?
Yeah, Shrugdealer is kind of like the songs that you. Shrugdealer is kind of like the tracks that you skip on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, like the ones that are like just a little bit too much for you, you know, too fast or like chaotic. Like in short, it's a Shrugdealer is me and like my dear friend Russ. Living out our dreams and then finding out whoever wants to come in and try to make it less crazy. It's just like shorthand, it's skate punk, it's fast melodic punk. Nice. You know, if I was being lazy, I would if you didn't know much music, I'd be like, oh, it's like like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater or like NoFX kind of. I think there's a lot more depth to it than that. Like we've definitely been compared to stuff like Thursday or Saves the Day before as well. And I think that those are really fair. But like, if I'm just trying to like tell someone who doesn't know much, or I only have like one sentence about, it's skate punk. It's like mathy or like proggy skate punk. So
nice. And then what was the Ed Sheeran band? What'd you say it was called?
Fred Sheeran.
Okay, where did that name come from?
Yeah, okay, so Fred Sheeran was my friend Nick. He Nick played in a pop punk band that I played with in high school called Third to Last, and we did our first tour together. It was terrible for like a number of reasons, but led me here. And Nick started doing like hip hop stuff in college. He went to University of Utah, I think, under the name Captain Nurk. And then he had a banjo. I don't know. He got really into banjo at one point, and like so he was living in Boise for a little bit, and he was like, "I have these." He was like, I don't remember all of how it happened, but he was like, "I have these lyrics." And like written on my phone, and so I just helped him turn those into songs, and then he sang. No. I sang the songs, but he had written the lyrics, and then I played guitar. He played banjo, and then the last song on it, he sang. It was like three songs. We did it in my bedroom, and put it up, and then it's on Bandcamp. I don't even think it's on like Spotify or anything. But yeah, it's a fun time. It was a funny Ed Sheeran reference, and I really appreciated that. Like it wasn't like it was just so stupid. And like that was around the time that like people started telling me I looked like him. So it was just like so stupid the way it came out. It wasn't like I don't know. It just felt funny. So yeah.
I think that's funny because one of the times I saw you, you came out and you're like, I get this a lot, but no, I'm not Ed Sheeran.
Did I actually?
I think you did, dude.
Oh, I think I'd kill myself if I said that today. Yeah.
Maybe it was just like in a group of us, but I remember you saying that, just laughing because I can see that you might have had that happen to you.
Oh yeah. It's like once a week probably at this point.
You signing autographs out there in New York or what?
No, actually Russ from my band has been told he looks like Keith from the Try Guys, and he has signed like autographs for people before. I don't think he actually signs it as Try. I think he signed it as some guy or whatever.
That's
but
so funny.
Yeah, it's funny shit. But yeah.
And then one of the other bands, it was Urban Outfielders. That's your baseball band, right?
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was my friend's band that I joined. My friends Pat and Ralph from the band. At the time, they were in a band called Step Brothers. I played with a lot. And so they and our friend Matt, who played in another band called Bright Old Giant, I believe. They were like, we want to start a band that is like basically just the Ramones, but all the songs are like love songs about baseball, or just like baseball euphemisms, kind of a thing. And they asked me to join, and I was like, I don't know. And I went to like one practice, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm. But they'd already put out like a demo and like written stuff. They were playing shows. They had the album written. They had their like personas, because it was very much like we all had like a name, and we like dressed up in baseball uniforms and that kind of thing. But yeah, that was a really fun band to be in. The short amount of time I was in it, for sure.
It's so funny, so awesome.
It was funny.
And then, how many?
These guys are brilliant. Sorry,
how many instruments do you play?
I play guitar and I play bass, but I mostly play guitar.
But I've seen a video of you playing drums with Mike.
With Mike? I can. Oh, yeah. I can like BS my way through drums.
Dude, good for you, man. It's impressive.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty decent at like being able to play like simple or like I can't do like fills. I probably don't hold the sticks right, but like I can do like I can do a lot of the stuff that I listen to. I know how to think in drums a little bit more. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a good time. But yeah, primarily I play guitar.
And is that your preferred instrument right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because when I think of you, I think bass, because that's what I've seen you play the most.
Yeah, dude, that was fun. Like being a Big O was fun because it literally was like I went out one day. I think I got asked to play, and I went out one day, and I'd filled in on bass for bands before, but I went to a pawn shop and bought like the bass I have, which is like a GNL something or other, which is pretty cheap. Like the price I paid for it was pretty cheap, and I got like a big old ugly 1x16 like bass cab, and around that time I got like a head as well, and it was just kind of like, I guess I'm doing this now. And
yeah,
it was fun because I would take my guitar pedal board, which only has like 3 pedals on it anyway, and I would just like make it sound like as dirty and noisy as I could. And that was fun. That was a fun thing. We were a fun live band, which is what made me want to be in the band first. Because again, we'd known Miles, like the main dude, since we were in high school playing in bands. Like, there's a video on YouTube of Miles' old band, Save Your Sorrows. They sounded a lot like Showbread was kind of one of their bigger influences, and Miles kind of like, he left the band, went to Africa for a few months on like a missions trip thing, and but he was like, I think that they were just kind of like having a split anyway, you know. And so his last show was in like a double wide trailer in Middleton, Idaho, and that band was insane. Like he would just like he broke. Well, I found out later that it had already been run over by a car once, but he broke like his Moog synthesizer at this show. There's like there's videos of it on YouTube, and it's like he's like shirtless, like crowd surfing, walking on like the ceiling with like cowboy boots on. But you know, you look out in the in the crowd, it's like you can see me and like the people that I later played in bands with. Like we were, we were all kind of, but it was very much like middle of nowhere kind of stuff. So we knew him from that. But then my band Sheep Among Wolves played a festival in Washington with him because he had asked me to help him out before. I think I might have even recorded like some kind of a demo for him or helped him with that a little bit, but I just like wasn't really interested. And then we saw him live and we just kind of got it,
Yeah.
It was like him and Jeff at that point. Jeff is one of the drummers that I played with along with him. Yeah, and we just kind of clicked. It was like, oh, this is it. Like, okay, I'm all about this. This is awesome. And so,
For sure.
So yeah.
Well, I want to say it was Jeff when you guys played the Boise Music Festival that he was the drummer.
I think, I think it was Ty that day.
Okay.
And Ty was the drummer in my band, Sheep Among Wolves.
Okay.
And the reason I think it was Ty is because I'm pretty sure there's a picture of it with Ty in the background.
Okay.
But Jeff is the one, like both are really good drummers. Jeff is the one that was in Miles' band growing up.
Gotcha.
And then he was also the one who did the MC Lars tour with us.
Cool. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, when you're talking about like that energy and like it clicking, Big O that day and at that time is one of those bands that if you don't listen to their style of music, you still have to see them live because the energy that you guys had that day was just so fun to be around. Like, I remember if it was Ty playing drums, he stood up at one point on his seat and he's just smashing the shit out of his cymbals. And then Miles comes out into the crowd. He's throwing the microphone everywhere. And then he like set it down, like right next to me where I was sitting, like on this bench thing. And he just puts it down and he just starts screaming into it. I have a picture somewhere. And then you're just you're just bopping around it, having the time of your life. Like, so it was really fun. It was great sound. And like, sure, yeah, if you don't listen to music, that's fine. But like, if you're there, you can enjoy it and appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think that, Miles, he had a vision for what he wanted to do. I really wish that we had some better recordings of what we were doing as a group because I didn't write there were beats behind it, but I wrote a lot of the bass parts on it. And like the way that we performed was really cool. And it was very, it was him leading the charge, but I think as a unit, we had a good thing going. It was nice to not be fronting a band, but kind of be fronting part of it, like be entertaining, but to like front a band and kind of just get to do whatever I wanted in it for it to not be like I don't know, like I would most of the time we would play on the floor anyway. Like, and when we did that bigger MC Lars tour, I remember like the plan was, only like we were going to play on the floor, like at least me and Miles were. But we wouldn't sound check on the floor because we didn't want to be told not to. And so the show would start, the first track would start, and immediately move the mic stands to the floor, move the pedal board to the floor, and start going. And it was so much fun. There were one of my favorite memories of this tour that I just thought of, actually, it was, I want to say we were in Virginia Beach, and I started there was a break in a song, and I put my bass down in the middle of the song and started getting people to do the wave like from one end of the and,
that's so awesome.
And the reason that was really funny to me is because I remember Miles seeing it and like laughing like mid song kind of a thing, like and yeah, it's funny. I don't actually see Miles like hardly ever anymore or really talk to him at all, but like his wife will come into town and we'll get like, she always hits me up when she's in New York. And but yeah, those are fun times. I totally forgot about that until now. That was a really good time.
You guys were fun to see, dude.
Yeah, we had fun. We had a good time.
And then, I mean, I have so many questions based off what we just talked about. But
go for it.
I'm going to add another band into this question because you talked about them. But I want you to rank and order your favorites for Sum 41, Green Day, Blink-182, and I'm going to add Good Charlotte for you.
Oh, boy. Hold on. I'm going to take a swig of my crushed grape.
This episode is not brought to you by Crushed Grape, but it is delicious. I see chugs. Good choice on the soda today, dude. Grape soda. Good job.
We were on the phone before we started this because I was telling Blair that I didn't have a mic cable, and I was like, oh no, like what do I need to go get one? But then I found it. But then I just was like, I'm going to go to the bodega across the street and get a crushed grape. Or I was going to get a soda. Should I get grape or orange? And he was like, grape. And I was like, you're right.
All day grape. Is it
okay,
good?
so
Is it worth it?
Yeah. It's
some good grape drink.
I love soda. I love crushed grape. I love root beer. I love crushed orange. I love Dr. Pepper. I know what I'm about.
Okay, well, if you had to choose one soda though for the rest of your life, just one, what is it?
Dude, that's really hard because it's like I don't want to ruin root beer for myself. I'd rather have
your answer is going to be.
Yeah, I'd rather part of me is like better to have like the memory than to have like the thing tainted.
Oh, dude, this is deep. You went deep with it.
I hope that you cut out the beginning of our interview and you go straight to this.
Nope. Oh shoot! I forgot to press record.
Wait, so what are the?
So it's Sum 41, Green Day, Blink-182, and Good Charlotte.
Okay, so Blink first. Okay, so in first place we have Blink-182.
Ding ding ding! We have a winner.
In second place we have Sum 41. I think that some. And this is hard because I feel like Good Charlotte is undeniably more laughable than Green Day. But I'll put on that Young and the Hopeless record any day. And I still know that some of the songs on that are like real top tier. Dude, I mean, do I listen to Dookie or Young and the Hopeless more? At this point, I don't know, like probably neither. Probably Young and the Hopeless just because like my girlfriend likes it. But I worked at a record store a few years ago and I bought Dookie and listened to it like every week. We're gonna say Green Day, Good Charlotte because of the overall like trajectory or like how many albums or like eras of that band that I like. But I feel like Good Charlotte's they have some catchy songs, man.
I thought for sure you were going to put them third.
Yeah, it was weirdly hard. I play music with people that if they hear this, they're gonna like be mad that this was even a question. There's nothing better than like playing with people in their 40s and like trying to talk to them about Good Charlotte. Like there's nothing better than like the angry reactions you get, like, oh, like you're talking about that band again, kind of. There's nothing better to annoy people with than being like, yo, like I know that you like Converge or whatever, but let's talk about GC. It's a good time.
But I had to throw that in there because I thought it was so funny that your friends were telling you that Good Charlotte is parent approved, and now apparently it's also girlfriend approved.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're parent approved, and I don't think that they just didn't swear. They just didn't swear as much. They just didn't. They just didn't have as many dick jokes, right? Like that was. But they still, one of the only songs I got in trouble for listening to growing up was My Bloody Valentine by Good Charlotte, which is about like killing some dude's or some girl's boyfriend because he wants to be with the girl. And my mom listened to that and she's like, hey, I listened to all these songs on your MP3 player and I think, they're fine. I don't know what she didn't hear, but she was like, they're fine except for this one song. So if you could just delete this one song, that'd be great. And we'll move on. And then I didn't, and I got in trouble for it later. But
that's not bad though. She only found one song.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember what era of life that was, but I definitely was listening to more crude music than that. But I don't think any of it was actually about like killing someone. Yeah. Like that's kind of it's intense.
Well, yeah, it's Good Charlotte. They were radio friendly. They're pretty poppy. Like
radio. Yeah.
It's all in good fun.
Have to get all their edge out in like a extreme way.
I almost put in there, and I'm going to just do it now because you brought them up earlier, was Newfound Glory. Where would you throw them in the mix of that list?
First.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Newfound Glory is like my favorite band.
All right. Good to know.
Newfound and I always say that like Newfound Glory and Less Than Jake were like the two favorite bands that I had.
Yeah.
Or that have like consistently stayed favorites through my life, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you threw them in there with like the music that you started to discover on your own, and I was like,
yeah, I love Newfound Glory. I think that they are just like, especially like the self-titled Sticks and Stones and Catalyst. Like I think that those three are kind of like pop punk perfected.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Yeah. I love a lot of music. I love a lot of pop punk music. I love a lot of punk music, but definitely, definitely. Newfound Glory, I think, just kind of did it the best for a few years, and then they're still good. But I think that those three records specifically are like golden era for me.
And what about the International Superheroes of Hardcore? What are your thoughts on them?
I think that they're really good. I do. They actually do kind of, that like, not just kind of, I think that they're funny. They're good. Some of the humor is a little bit too on the nose, but like that intro track, for their CD or their record or whatever, their split.
Yeah.
Newfound Glory, that the like theme song or whatever is really good. It's like a really good hard. And, Screamo Gotta Go, like on like an Agnostic Front song, and I think that song is so like funny and like I think it aged better than it probably sounded at the time.
Yeah,
I do remember that they were on the MySpace top friends of Newfound Glory, and I didn't know who they were because they didn't have pictures of them. But there's a picture of like Haley Williams wearing one of their shirts, and I was like, okay, so this is someone that like everyone knows, but I didn't realize that it was them. You know.
Did you ever see them live?
No, I didn't. Did you?
Okay. I did. I saw them when they opened for themselves.
Oh, shit.
Essentially. So anybody that doesn't know, International Superheroes of Hardcore is Newfound Glory, just all mixed up, playing different instruments and doing hardcore music. And so, yeah, they opened. It was with 4 Years Strong and A Day to Remember as well. And so when they came up in like superhero costumes. And I remember one person that was in the crowd, like, we're in the pit, front and center. And they're like, dude, this band sucks. They're terrible. And I'm like, you know who that is, right? They're like, no. And I was like, who'd you come here to see? They're like, Newfound Glory. I was like, they're on stage right now. And he's like, no, they're not. And I was like, look at their tattoos. I was like, watch when Newfound comes out. It's the same tattoos. And he didn't believe me.
That's funny.
Yeah, they were fun to see. I mean, like, they didn't take it serious, but they still played phenomenal. It's fun to say that I was there.
Well, the funny thing is like that they wrote those songs when they were writing Coming Home, right? Like that was like how they blew off steam when they were writing all this like really soft music or whatever. And I love that so much. They put out their softest album and then they were like, but at night we actually just kind of went the other way with it. And it's really funny. Yeah, I actually think that band rocks.
That's good. That's good background for it. And so how many times have you seen Newfound?
Not as many as you'd think. One of my favorite shows was the Sticks and Stones 10-year tour. I'll say that. How many times have I seen them? I want to say 4 or 5. Warped Tour 07. Sticks and Stones tour. The self-titled Sticks and Stones, like I don't know, they played both albums, but like in a mixed up order.
Okay.
And then I saw them recently on the Catalyst tour.
Nice.
Yeah. One of Ali's friends, my girlfriend's friends, bought a bunch of tickets and for his friends and stuff, and took us with him.
That's so cool.
The guy's name is Brendan. He actually got me like a gift, like an Ian Grushka signed like card of some kind.
Oh, that's
recently.
Cool.
Yeah. He's like a local at a bar by her place, and we went there one night. He's like, hey, got you this. And I was like, whoa. What did I do to deserve this
Yeah,
kind of thing?
dude, that's amazing.
Yeah. It was pretty sick.
That's so cool. And then what's the last concert you've been to?
Concert or show? Like local band or
Either way.
like friends bands?
Yeah,
What? Either way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might have been the Shrugdealer show at well, yeah, it was definitely the Shrugdealer show at the Econo Lodge in East Williamsburg. We played with Baby Got Back Talk and Original
name.
Sharks. Yeah. Yeah, both it was a pretty like technical pop punk show, actually. Both of those bands, their local New York bands, are like technical pop punk. But yeah, anyway, that's that.
That was fun that night talking to you about all the shark name bands and how they've had to change their names.
Yeah, there's like 3 different shark bands in our like little New York scene, and I think it's funny.
That's cool. It's really cool that you got to see them because I mean they have some great music, or I guess play with them. Yeah.
I mean all those bands are. We've played. We haven't played with Shark Swimmer, but yeah, we did in New York. You know, there's Original Sharks, there's Desert Sharks, and there's Shark Swimmer, and they all have like weird ties to like thousands pop punk or like 2010s pop punk in some weird way, which is funny to me. But yeah, no, the bill we played was really good. Before that, you know, I've been to a few pretty good shows recently, and something I think that coming back is like throwing events for shows. So my friends in the band, Sorry Darling, they do like Valentine's shows every year, and like the theme of their band is kind of like love, more or less. And they did like a song release show or a single release show. I feel like I'm like botching this, and Liz is gonna listen to this and yell at me. Yeah, I mean they had like a photo booth set up, and with my friend Jen taking pictures, and all the bands had like a different like dress code, essentially. Like they all had their own thing going on. The last band that played wasn't even the band whose show it was. They got this slightly older New York band to reunite and play called The Royal Day. Yeah, it was so sick. That band is so good. But then actually before that, there's this person here, Alice Danger, who is like she threw herself a wedding recently, and Onsie played, and and she's just like, I didn't really know what I was getting into. Like I'd seen her in other bands and stuff. But dude, like it set the bar for shows now, for like playing like doing release shows. The bar is like all the way up here, because what it was she's like, hey, I'm getting married, I'm throwing a show, you know, come enjoy or whatever. And so we play, and like, you know, bands, oh, it's your first dance, and she's dancing. The other thing that she had said before, we were like, oh, we didn't even know, you know, like, you're with anyone, who are you marrying? She's like, no, yeah, but you know, you never know what could happen. And we were like, okay, sweet. And so we play the show, everyone's kind of dressed up a little bit, and then like what it turns out being is that it's like an EP release show for her.
Okay.
But the venue was in like the basement of this music place, and so she had someone like emceeing it, and so she was walked down the aisle, quote unquote, which was like down the stairs to the basement floor, with like her band members being like the Flower Girls essentially, and like her wedding party. And went on stage and just kicked ass. Like I had no idea she could play like this. I had no idea she wrote songs this good. It blew my mind. There was one point that she also had Jen doing a photo booth at this show too. But there was a point in the show that she like like there's a break in a song, and then we just hear like horns start playing, and then I realized like there were horn players like descending down the stairs like mid song, now playing as part of the band, and then they just were in the pit and there was confetti and the band's still playing on stage, and I was like, what the hell? Like I've never seen anything like this. But yeah, anyway, so and then she put it out as like a zine, like a little like full. So I'm holding it. No one here can hear this, but look up Alice Danger, and her newest EP. But she put out this zine essentially, and what do you want for it? She's like, nothing, just like listen to it, just like read it and listen to it. And I was like, that's really cool. So I write for a website called Band Nada, and I ended up interviewing her about the entire thing afterward, because it was like one of the best interviews I've ever done, because it just blew my mind. I thought she was so funny. She's like in Europe right now, and she's just like, she bought like a one-way ticket and is just like riding her bike around with her guitar and like, you know, getting into trouble. I don't know. It's a good time. But yeah, that's probably the most significant recent show that I've been to, because it literally just changed my life. Like it was literally just one of those things where it's like, oh, like we can do more with this kind of thing, you know? Like no one there didn't have a smile on their face because she just had a bit and committed to it, you know?
Well, I love that she just like made it kind of sound like unorganized, or like, you don't know, we'll see what happens. But she had everything planned out.
But she kind of, so that's true. But she also is like, after interviewing, she kind of she's the kind of person that kind of doesn't too. She was like, yeah, man, I got the wedding dress for like $30 that morning, and it just happened to fit me perfectly from like a thrift store. I was like, holy shit, man. Like,
that's so funny.
Yeah. And then at the end of the show, it was like, what I didn't realize was that this was going to be like a multi-part story. So like the end of the show, I know you asked me to come and talk about like music I make and music I grew up listening to, and now I'm just talking about other people's. But she like at the end of it, it was like, well, don't you want to see who you married? And she's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, or like the MC is like, you got drunk and you signed the marriage certificate, and here it is. And she like grabbed it and like jumped off the stage and ran out, and someone was like, runaway bride. And then she had like a wedding part 2, which was like the honeymoon later. And there was like legit like Jello wrestling, and like the dude, my friend, like Ben, the singer of the band Onsie, was like dressed up in a gorilla suit that they like last minute were like, hey, can you put this on and like run on stage? And he was like, So, and yeah, I think there's like a third part that's coming up, but I don't know the details. But yeah, that stuff definitely, like for my bands, you know, my bands are both doing albums coming up soon. It's like the bar is high now.
I wish I was there for that one, man. I'm coming out. I'll wear the gorilla costume, dude. I'm on my way.
Dude, I'm sure she'd love that. I think I would love that more, but yeah.
And then what's the next show you're going to?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I actually don't know.
How many tickets purchased right now?
Nah, probably when I'm playing. For
Shrugdealer, for Onsie.
Yeah, I mean, Shrugdealer just did a little weekender. Okay, I mean, on your episode with Christian, you talked about him showing you the Descendants documentary.
Dude, I was getting to that. What were you gonna say though?
Well, we can get to that, and then I'll say it if you want.
Say it. No, say it. Let's hear it.
I'm running and playing actually a show for Chad Price's new band. He's like one of the singers of All.
Nice.
So I feel really cool about, or not cool. I feel like really like that's like the coolest thing in the world to me, is like running a show for him, or like being involved and meeting him or playing with him at all. That's like he's one of my favorite vocalists. Like I used to like warm up to his songs a little bit, or at least try to. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dream come true moment. So yeah, the go ahead. Can you say something?
Nope.
The question that you were referencing, which I had to bring up in this episode, because I have a list of questions that before I start an episode with somebody, I look through like, okay, like what do I want to ask? And so the list keeps getting longer and longer. And one of those questions is, what's your favorite music-based movie? And what's your favorite music-based documentary? Which the question music documentary comes exactly or from you, because when I was making the list of questions, Christian's like, oh, dude, I've seen this music documentary. Like, where'd you see that? He's like, oh, Rob showed me. He's like, I've seen this documentary. I was like, where'd you see that? He's like, oh, Rob showed me. So I was like, okay, that question's from you because you're the documentary guy.
I am. I'm the guy who wants to know everything and fill his brain with media. To me, like my favorite music-based movie and documentary are kind of the same thing. I don't feel like I watch a lot of like musical biopics, and the ones I have weren't like really that good. I watched the Motley Crue one recently, and I thought I was like, okay. Motley Crue, no, not really. No, I mean, I don't even remember what I thought at the time, but it was just kind of ridiculous because it's Motley Crue and they're kind of ridiculous.
Well, one thing I know about you is you're a huge MGK fan, so I'm surprised you didn't like that because he's in there.
I forgot he's in there. I mean, Pete Davidson's in it too, and that I totally forgot. It had some funny cameos. I'm just not. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure I liked it at the time, but it wasn't anything to write home about for me. You're gonna have to mess with my audio so much. I'm just moving this mic around. Okay, so I mean, my favorite music documentary is probably Filmage, which is the Descendants one, or Salad Days, which is about like the DC scene in the 80s. So like from Minor Threat up through like Fugazi and all of like the stuff that kind of came out of that world, you know?
Yeah.
I will say that there's a movie a long time ago called The Punk Singer. That is about Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill. And it's a pretty good movie, but she just wrote a book called Rebel Girl, and that is the best that's probably like a top 2 or 3 music book I've ever read. It's probably the best like autobiography I've ever read, actually.
That's cool.
So yeah. That's what I have to say about that, Blair.
And that's all I have to say about that. Well, the Descendants all I have to
say about that
documentary, you showed Christian showed me, so essentially you showed me, and it's phenomenal, man. Like, it's so interesting, and like that part when Brian goes to the hospital and his doctor's a fan.
Oh, like, Bill. Yeah.
How crazy is that, man? Like,
yeah, dude,
saved his life, dude. So cool. So yeah, if you haven't seen that, anybody, definitely watch that one.
Yeah, if you're into like pop punk at all, or if you grew up being into, you know, they're kind of the band that started it all. So like they're kind of the band that influenced all the bands that I think grew up liking, right?
For sure.
And so I think that it's just such a cool documentary to see how those worlds are connected.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why like I give them a chance of like, you know, listening to them, is because it's like, okay, well, Blink's my favorite band. What's their favorite band? And so, you know, they say Descendants so many times. And so I know a lot of the music that I grew up listening to for sure would say, we were just trying to do what Milo did, or we were trying to sound like them in any way possible. The night though I watched the Descendants documentary, Christian and I were talking about how the Hells Angels once got hired to do security for that Rolling Stones concert. And so we ended up watching a documentary on that. Have you seen or heard anything about that?
No, what's it called?
I'll send it to you, but just that whole story, man, of them, like, it's like the Hells Angels and the hippies, like all the drama that they had back then, and it all originated from that concert, because Hells Angels were doing security. It didn't go well. They were fighting hippies. Hippies were fighting back. A couple of people got shot that night. Like, it's insane, man.
Hippies used to be a lot tougher.
Oh, for sure. And then the 2 obvious questions I have to ask. What's your definition of emo?
You know, I wrote down you sent me all these questions, and I wrote down a pretty good answer to this one. because I actually filled it out and then told you not to use them, and now I'm regretting the places I've taken this conversation, feeling like I was a bad guest. Let me.
Well, here's the thing I should ask while you're looking for that.
Mhm.
We're at an hour and 20 minutes. I really feel like we need a part 2. What do you think?
I mean, I would. Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, we'll do a few.
2.
We'll do a few more, and then we'll wrap this up for now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I can't find it. My definition of emo would really just be like, emotional punk music, or like punk music. Like in my head, when I think about emo, I think about bands that came out of punk, and I guess more specifically hardcore, and then put more dynamics in their music. Had different tempos. I really think of a lot of emo, I guess, just the way that I found the genre. I think of it as like a more serious or self-serious genre that like is both heavier and softer.
Okay.
I think that a lot of emo plays on like, the heavy, soft dynamics. And I mean, ultimately, I think that emo music, to me, like the big thing is that it's like introspective. Like I know that Cassie K said that on your last podcast with her.
Yeah.
But I think that is like the thing that I really think of with emo. So, but I think it all descends from that like more emotional or like experimental and like vulnerable punk place. So yeah, that's my definition of emo, I guess.
Okay. And I'm going to derail myself for a second before I ask your definition of punk. But like I said, like you always comment, you give me great commentary to the episodes. In Cassie K's, we talked about Juliet Sims, and you played a show and you have a story. So I feel like this is the time for you to say that story.
Oh boy. Yeah, man. I mean, it was with the Big O guys too. Their band played as well. And it was Automatic Love Letter. They were sick. It was at the local Boise venue, literally called the venue. It was like all ages. So yeah, it was an all ages sober space. It's a brewery now, which sucks.
That's funny.
Like the beer is all right, but I kind of hate that, it had to go out of business. But yeah, it was just anyway, my high school band Rest on This played, which was the band I was in after the other one I told you about. It was like my first band that started playing shows and stuff. Yeah, I mean, what do I remember about that? I remember so the lady who ran this venue, she went by the name Mom, and she would cook for all the bands that were coming through. So she always had like food available for the local bands at local shows. But then when like a touring band was coming through, she would make them a home cooked meal. And she'd always have some kind of like a vegan or a vegetarian option if the bands had that,
Cool.
But yeah, so what I remember about that was that someone went out to tell Juliet Sims, who was in her van, that the food was ready, and she like blew them off, and so they just thought she was a dick. Who cares? But and then she wore my Mighty Ducks hat.
How did that happen?
I handed it to her and she wore it. That was a fun show. There's a good picture of me from that show. The Miles and Jeff's old band had like their first shirts. In fact, I think their only shirts were like they got at Goodwill, and like it had like a stencil and put their initials on it. So I have like a Build-A-Bear shirt, and then like the initials of the band's name are like on the side of it.
That's so funny.
And I wore that shirt at that show. There's a picture of that someone took of me at that show. Yeah, no, it was fun. It's a good time. I did not know any songs by Automatic Love Letter. I had never heard of them, I don't think. I know she went on to be on like The Voice or something after that, right? Yeah. Uh-huh. She had a raspy voice, and that was cool. And I still like raspy voices. I really love like raspy femme voices. And so like talking too. I don't know. I think it's cool. So Yeah, they were nice to me, at least.
Dude, when I met them, the band was super cool, and then they came on stage. They played great. Like,
mhm.
it was cool. And also, she sang in "Remembering Sunday" with All Time Low.
Yes, she did. That's another band I hate. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna make a list of all the bands that you hate and just send you a song a day from one of those bands.
You could, but my girlfriend's got it covered because she likes all those bands.
I do think that maybe I need to share a screenshot when we release this of our text earlier, because you texted me and you're like, yeah, I met Juliet Sims too. She wore my Mighty Ducks hat on stage once. And I was like, you flirt with my girlfriend? And you're like, well, she was my girlfriend first.
but she's famous now. No, yeah, I had this Mighty Ducks hat that I still have it technically, actually. It's in my room, but the snap is broken on it. But yeah, like everyone, I would wear it around to shows, and everyone wore that hat. I would just throw it at bands, and they'd wear it. I had a picture on Facebook that I tagged everyone who wore it at one point.
Dude, that's so funny.
Yeah, that was my thing for a while. But yeah, we played with Juliet Sims, and that venue was really cool too. I know that we're talking about winding down, but I think when you've been in this long enough, you kind of look back at the shows that you've seen and kind of can't believe that you've seen them. Like, your last podcast, you talked about seeing Fall Out Boy with like Armor for Sleep. Is that correct?
So you're mixing two. I saw Fall Out Boy with Cassie. It was Fall Out Boy All American Rejects from First to Last on Hawthorne Heights. And then it was Automatic Love Letter open for Armor for Sleep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Well, kind of makes sense. Automatic Love Letter makes a little sense opening for Fall Out Boy, I feel like, but I'm not. I enjoy a mixed bill. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah,
like you think back on those shows, and it's just kind of like, what what kind of lineups were these? Was it you or Tyler who saw like Set Your Goals with Newfound Glory and 4 Year Strong on that Easy Core tour?
I saw the Easy Core tour, but I didn't see Set Your Goals. So it was Tyler that saw Set Your Goals.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy to like, before these bands get super big and you have the chance to see them.
Do it. Let FOMO drive a little bit and like find your like cultural moment,
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it because I was talking to one of the guys in Original Sharks. He used to play in the Spellers, and I was telling him about how I saw them in Boise with the headliner was Fireworks, and the two opening bands were Transit and Man Over.
Dude, what a crazy lineup!
Yeah, and it was just like all those bands were really small at the time, and like Transit and Fireworks ended up being like two of the most like important bands in like my life, like especially like Gospel by Fireworks is like a top 3 record for me probably, and or top 4 record for me, and then like Transit, like I completely changed the way I play music, like the way that I play guitar, the way I structure songs, like Transit was like huge on that. And that was my first time hearing them, so yeah, I don't know. And then like a year later, I saw, I want to say Fireworks with Balance and Composure and Such Gold. And I missed Such Gold. Too. And Polar Bear Club. Polar Bear Club was the headliner. And it was, I don't know, it's just like those shows, like there are kids who would kill to see that lineup now.
Oh, and, for sure, dude.
It's just funny to think about. You were just kind of there and the venue was maybe like a full. But it's cool. It's cool to know that I was able to do something like that. So.
Yep. Then going back to it, what's your definition of punk?
I mean, at its core, I think of punk as like the lineage and like community that came from the 70s, like punk movement, like everything, like the things that came out of that. At its core, that's like what I think punk is technically. But if we're looking at like ethos or whatever. I think like the DIY aspect of it is pretty important, and I think that everything kind of comes from that, like the politics that we associate from punk. I think it comes from and like all the different scenes and subgenres have kind of come out of this like not waiting around on people, not waiting for permission, figuring it out. There's I think an Ian MacKaye quote that says something to the effect of punk is music made not for the profit motive. So like you're not making music to profit off it. You're making music to express yourself and create. And I think that is kind of what I think of punk as.
Yeah.
At this point in my life.
That's a great definition and response to that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to do a part 2 because I just now looked at the questions. So like we're just warming up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
So I want to end with one question, if that's okay.
Go for it.
What's your favorite break off Blink band?
Oh boy, it's got to be Plus 44.
Okay.
It's like pretty down home plate, but like Angels and Airwaves was always a little bit too head in the clouds or in space for me. I respect it from like an art perspective, but as far as like listening to it, like I like maybe I'll get around to it, but I don't know. I definitely left an Angels and Airwaves performance once at Warped Tour. I think I did. Either that or Hawthorne. I want to say I don't know. I just remember seeing them playing and being like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Whatever. Yeah, and like Boxcar Racer is kind of like I like what Boxcar Racer did for Tom, but that whole era of Tom is just kind of silly to me because it's like Tom's kind of learning about the world for the first time, and it's like learning that there's more out there than just like skateboarding and girls and sounding like NoFX. So it's like it's very much like he's like the thing I always think about, and I probably took this from a podcast I used to listen to, but like you think about like Anthem Part 2 and that it's like such a great like pop punk kid starter kit.
Okay.
And like if I was going to tell someone to like learn pop punk guitar, listen to Anthem Part 2. Listen to like you got the neen like pretty part, and then you got the palm mutes, and you got the octave chords, you got it kind of does everything. That song's like also like it's like Tom's attempt at like writing a political song, and like the most he can like figure out is like, man, adults are so fucked up. Like kids can't even vote. Yeah, kids can't even vote. And you're just like, Tom, my guy, like I don't know. Just like it's so dumb, but it kind of just works. I don't even know if it works. It's just really funny. It's core to who I am, but it's ridiculous when I look back on it. So that whole era of Tom, I feel like Boxcar Racer is like that as an album, Okay. He's like, have you guys ever heard of like, I don't know, like you interviews around that time, he was discovering like post-hardcore music. Yeah. Like he was really into like Rival Schools and Quicksand and Fugazi, and that album's very experimental musically. To me, it feels like it's not developed musically, and I think that can be a really beautiful thing. But I think that what it did was cooler than what it was, at least for me. I appreciate the effort more than the outcome.
So then what is it about Plus 44 that you appreciate?
It's not trying too hard, I guess. And I like things that try too hard too, like, to be honest. But yeah, Plus 44 just had like I don't know what it was, man. Like I think that, before a few years ago, I would have said Tom was like my favorite Blink member. And I think he still is, but plus 40, the thing about plus 44, and I think this speaks to who Tom is in, or to who Mark is in Blink, is like Mark's writing down home plate almost every time. And when he tries to write about deep things, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but he's never like going too far out on a limb. And I think that for me, plus 44 works because it's simply the most accessible one out of all. It's most like Blink. There's still cringy lyrics. There's still this and that. I like that they like that it was experimental. I don't know if Mark knows how to do anything else besides Mark, and maybe that's why I like it. That song, No It Isn't, about Tom after the Blink breakup, that song rocks. Like,
so good.
Like yeah, there's some really good songs on that. It's a cool record. I don't listen to it regularly, but yeah, anyway, I think that it's just the one that like I enjoy the most, really. If we want to talk about like musical ethics and how I think art should be made, I guess I'd say Angels and Airwaves, but I've never listened to an Angels and Airwaves record, and like I don't think I will. So yeah, I get the most enjoyment out of plus 40.
Cool. Well, and I just learned this. It might be public knowledge, but going back to Angels and Airwaves, I saw something with Tom this week that apparently Everything's Magic was wrote for the movie Shrek.
No way.
Did you know that?
No.
that's what somebody said. I was like, I don't know if that's true, but that just surfaced, and so I just had to tell you.
That's pretty good. No, I appreciate that. So that's really funny.
Before we wrap up,
wait, does Alkaline Trio count as a spin-off band?
Well, I mean, kind of now, right? But they came first, so that's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know. Because if they count, that's my answer. 100%. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Well, when I was asking you about upcoming shows, are they playing anywhere near you when they come together?
I don't know. I think I just kind of figured I wouldn't be able to afford it. Although my friend guitar techs for Alkaline sometimes, so maybe I could, maybe I have a connection to get me in. Dude, I paid $182 to see Blink-182 not on the floor. It's the most I've ever spent for any concert. I don't think any band is actually worth that amount of money, but it was the closest I'll ever get to like a Canon Blink, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I just have to do it.
Where was
Turnstile opened, which is sick. And some band called Beauty School Dropout, who I wasn't really that into, but that's cool. I'm just getting older. It was at the UBS, the UBS Arena in, is that in New York or Jersey? I don't know. It's where the Islanders play. It's where the New York Islanders play now.
Cool.
Yeah, it was dope. There's a guy dressed up as Boomer, like
nice.
Tom from and actually, before I knew her, my girlfriend was at that show too.
That's sick.
So that's funny. But yeah, I went alone. I was like, this is my only chance to ever. This is the only time I'll probably ever see this band, and so I did it. And you know what? It was awesome.
Good. Dude.
It was at least awesome enough to like tickle my nostalgia. So.
And how close did you get?
I wasn't that close. I was like in the back corner of the stadium, closer to the floor. I wasn't like nosebleeds, but I was still essentially like couldn't see much, you know. I had fun. Like Mark like took his mic and like ran it to the other side of the stage for Don't Leave Me, and like just played to like the side of the arena, like the people sitting on the seats next to the stage kind of a thing, instead of like facing the whole audience. And I love that Tom is just Tom. Like I love that he's just like they have like tracks now and stuff going in the background, and like they even have like some of his vocal tracks going, but he's still singing everything over them, so you can hear whenever he messes up. And and he's just up there probably drunk, just like and you can just I love that Tom is just he's just Tom. He's always going to be Tom. Even at this level, he's still going to be messing up, and like and like they're gonna have their corrections, but you can still hear it. And he doesn't give a fuck. He's Tom DeLonge, so I appreciate that about him. So
still really cool that you got closer than I've probably ever been. So I'm very jealous of that.
You saw them kind of recently, didn't you?
I haven't seen them since last summer.
Okay,
so it's been a little bit, but
yeah. You know, I know we're supposed to wrap up, and you can cut this out, but something I really wish that I would have made more of a. I shouldn't say really wish. I mean, it's fine that I didn't, but it would have been cool to make more of a point when I was living in Boise and I was like 19 or 20 and they got back together the first time to go see them, because the lineups for that were awesome. And I still feel like that's one of my favorite eras of Blink, just like those like Neighborhoods and Dogs Being Dogs. And then I feel like it was never the same after that. But I really like, I remember they played Salt Lake, I want to say with Rancid and H2O, or it might have been My Chemical Romance and Rancid or something like that. I don't know. It was a cool, like old school, new school lineup at the time that I think would have been really cool to see. And so I wish I would have done more to do that. Whatever. Live and you'd pay $182 later.
I mean, that's a lot of money, but that's the appropriate amount of money to pay for that show.
Yeah, I know. And technically it was $186 after the next amount of fees. But when I picked out the seat and it was like $182, I was like, sure. I have to do it. Yeah, it's a sign. Yeah, there you go.
Before we wrap up part 1 of Raw, is there anything else you want to say?
Be good to each other and stay engaged in the world, because the world is bad right now.
Amen to that, brother.
All right, cool.